Hello, everyone. Welcome to BowTieSecurityGuy After Dark. This is episode 28, I believe. My guest today is Pastor Scotty Ward. Scotty, I've watched you kind of posting stuff and I've seen a lot of your mentoring, and really just wanted you to come on to kind of share your journey in technology because I think it's an interesting one. How did you get started and what kind of drove you into the technology field?
Thank you, Robert. It's good to be here, first of all. And I have to go back into ancient history, but back in the day when I got my first IT job, I was actually a computer users group president. And that was the experience that it took for me to be brought in to work at a help desk.
Love
And
it.
and oh, by the way, it was an Amiga users group. So
Oh,
it
I mean,
wasn't even
I'll
wasn't
go
even
back to the
IBM.
Palm Pilot days. That
Yeah.
was one of my first IT gigs was at the help desk at Palm Pilot.
Yeah, that was back in 1990. And I started
Nice.
off at the Small Computer Tech Center at Dyess Air Force Base in Abilene, Texas.
It's
And
interesting to me. I've had a good amount of military people on, and it seems like the military was more ahead of the curve than I thought they were. Of course, like the internet was built in the military and built by the military. Um, but like seeing how like in the 90s, you're already part of a group. Another person I had on last week was teaching people to build computers and teaching them concepts of technology. What did that like? Basically, the way I explained it is all of us who started in this field we basically just figured our way around by breaking stuff. Like, would you agree with that approach?
yeah,
And
very much so. Very much so. We would look at society around us and say, how can this new technology be utilized? And
yeah.
so a lot of us began imagining what the future was going to look like. I put this in our chat very quickly a couple minutes ago. I am distinguished among many, but I'm distinguished in being a charter member of the Internet Society.
Oh my
So,
goodness. How
yeah,
crazy.
that's how old I am. But
Seasoned. The word is
yeah,
seasoned. We
yeah,
don't
yeah,
use
that's it.
old.
That's it, season. But yeah, it was a case of looking at the entire world around us and realizing what was going to be happening, but also trying to help ride that wave and, you know, carry it into my profession. I had no idea I was going to be in IT until I got there, and I've loved it ever since. So,
Yeah.
you would have to drag me kicking and screaming out of IT and
I-
cyber
I'm
these days.
I'm the exact same way. Like, and I try
Yeah.
to tell people if you don't love this job, it is the worst job ever.
Yep.
Like, if you're
Yep.
getting into it for the wrong reasons, if you're getting into it just because the money, it's not going to be a
Hmm.
job that fulfills you because this is
Right.
a job of stress. It's a
Hmm.
job of crazy hours, a job of constant learning, and now, unfortunately, a job of absolutely no stability. Like
Right.
it's you've got to love it or you just don't survive here. So you started off in the basically as like one of the fathers of the internet, for lack of anything better. Um, and how did you kind of bridge out of your military career and kind of make it in the civilian world? And what was that first job like?
Well, when I went into the IT field, I had already left my military behind. I had finished up in the military in 1988, and I was a seismic analyst. That and 50 cents gets you a cup of coffee when you're out in the real world. So I had to find out something that would use my secondary skills, which was computers. So
Yeah.
from then on, I was in civil service or as a contractor in IT for the Department of Defense mostly. Moved to Washington, D.C., spent about 18 years in and around the Pentagon, National Defense University, also Department of Justice, working with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and now most recently, Department of Labor, working for the OCIO there, the Office of the in,
That's
Chief
wild.
Information Officer. Yeah. the
Yeah,
very first
and I mean, and
OCIO.
you were on staff at the Pentagon during the attacks of 9/11, and you were
Yep,
one of the highest IT managers like at that time. Like I'm not gonna a lot of it you can't really go into, and I understand that. Most of us who work in the security, like we got all kinds of cool stories we can't tell anybody about.
right,
Um,
right.
but what was that kind of the process like of kind of evolving during that day and kind of
Mhm.
how did you I mean did that day end for you or did it just keep going? Because even
Right,
for those of us who were not involved directly, I was in Connecticut at the time, and I instantly got in my car and was going to New York to try to help people.
right.
And they turned us away. They shut down the entire, like New York was shut down almost immediately after the
Hmm.
first hit. Um, but it was wild because that's just the civilian side. From the military side, is there anything you're able to talk about that? I don't want to go into too much detail because I know you can't talk
Right,
too much about it. But
right.
what was that like?
Well, from the human standpoint, it was the longest day of my life, honestly.
Yeah,
It, it took the bus that I got on 4 hours to go 4 miles.
yeah,
Okay, just Washington, D.C. was absolute bedlam. But along with that, we learned later on that for example, the Deputy Secretary of Defense, Paul Wolfowitz, jumped on a helicopter and flew to the COOP location, the
yeah,
continuity of operations location, and found it absolutely unusable. Nobody had paid any attention to COOP or continuity of government for the Department of Defense, and they had almost nothing at that COOP location that he could use. He got so frustrated that he went back to his house in Bethesda or Silver Spring or
right.
wherever it was, and and assumed his role as if Donald Rumsfeld ends up hurt, and he sat there at his house
Yeah,
instead of at the COOP location. We learned a lot from that point on about continuity of government, about restitution, about resiliency.
yeah,
Imagine your entire, server infrastructure being useless. Okay,
yeah.
now go to work.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we learned a
Uh,
lot that day and in the following about a year and a half. Um, and
I think a lot of people did about disaster recovery in general.
hmm hmm
You know, removing the tragedy aside, just the infrastructure aspects of that and the understanding of disaster recovery, I think a lot of us had a fundamental understanding that we never really thought of before. Like
right.
and we started to think about things in a more granular scale, right? We're seeing
Hmm.
more and more cyber attacks. A lot of what you're doing, and the reason I wanted you to come on is to talk about kind of your Sensei mentorship program, which I think
Hmm.
is awesome. You're teaching kids the fundamentals of cyber and teaching them a lot of the core values that they need and just
Right.
kind of spreading good, right? Like teaching and educating people. So many of us who are seasoned I think are really trying to give back and kind of inspire that next generation because you and I think myself we see there's gonna be a problem with future and cyber and future we need people and as much as people are
Yep.
afraid of AI people are also afraid of the internet, right? Like
Right.
I mean you were part of those conversations where they're like the internet's gonna take my job and you're like no it's not it's gonna create more jobs.
It will be your job. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what kind of got you to a point where you said, you know what, I'm going to start mentoring people and I'm going to start giving back more in this area? I mean, it seems like it's part of your nature. Obviously, you're a
Yeah.
pastor. Giving is part of pastor life.
It's what I do.
But yeah, but what caused you to kind of go this route where I think so many, there's just this massive gap of
Hmm.
cyber knowledge and training for new people.
Right. You and I both know that there is an advertised skills gap. The issue is that entry level and where the gap exists, there's a big chasm between them.
Yeah,
So, so all that to be said, my role is to try and help get people into the career field, period. But
yeah,
the the reason I got started was in 2019, I left behind my contractor job and went back into civil service. And at that point, I went back to 40 hours a week. Before that, I had been working for the last 5 years. I'd been working 60 hours a week, you know,
Yeah.
standard. So now I
Yeah.
had time and I looked and said, well, what can I do to make a difference? And when I told my ISSO in the Pentagon, I told my ISSO that I was starting, not Pentagon, a Department of Labor, that I
Yeah.
was starting a cybersecurity mentorship program. Her response was, oh, good. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. She said, we're hiring all the wrong people. And I
Yeah.
took that to heart. Some of the people that have the skills don't have the mindset necessary
No.
for you to base your reliance on them
Yep.
to keep your business running or your organization secure.
Y- Yeah.
They're techies, but they're hired guns. And
Hmm.
they're going to go to wherever the price is highest. And you've got to start by teaching them ethics. Do
Yes.
what's right. Be a good person first.
Yep.
And after that, you can get those skills. Skills can be taught, but to be a good person takes a lot of work.
Yep. I always say I can't teach you not to be a jerk, but I can teach you technical. Right.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
and I think that's a very good delineator, like delineator. It's like you've got these really smart people that have never been taught social skills. They've never been taught soft skills. I was
Right.
one of them, right? I have
Right.
autism and ADHD, so like I was very blunt and very much a jerk for most of my life, not realizing it. Because I'm like, what do you mean you don't like being corrected and being told you're wrong? I don't. I can't understand that. You don't want me to tell you that you're incorrect if you're not correct. So it
Wow.
took a lot. It took a lot
Uh-huh.
of learning, and I think that's where that gap comes in. Is like you've got these really technical people, and also I feel like the colleges have done a lot of people dirty, which is like they've created this false perception of you're going to get your degree and you're going to come out and get a job for six
Right.
figures. Like,
Right.
have you seen that happen
I have.
ever? I've seen it
Well, I'm
happen
sorry. I'm sorry.
twice.
I've seen that
Yeah.
mindset
Yeah, but
in
have you
the
actually seen
graduates
somebody get out of college and land a six-figure job? Like it's happened
very rarely.
twice. Yeah,
Very
twice for
rarely.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's and I don't say this to discourage my listeners because I know a lot of them are college students and things.
Hmm.
I do it to prepare them mentally so they can make the right decisions and they understand that like it's gonna be a marathon. It's not gonna be a
Hmm.
race. Like you're not gonna graduate and then instantly have job offers. That's pretty
Right.
rare. So how does the so you started the Cybersecurity Sensei mentorship program.
Hmm.
What did that look like in its infancy? Like how many people, how did you get people into it? Like how did that even
Right.
happen?
Well, I teamed up with another IT guy in the
Mhm.
Department of Labor, and he and I both recognized the need. I came up with the idea, and he joined in. Since then, he has gone on to get his CISSP, and he is hard charging toward a good career himself. Me, I'm
Nice.
still focused on the people and bringing them in. But I know the value of social media and being able to I'm out on Facebook when you and I both know most IT security folks shun being online.
I didn't even
On,
have a Facebook profile till I got laid, or a LinkedIn
right,
till I got laid off.
right.
Right. And now
And
I'm
then
now I'm a quasi influencer. So it
right,
because the
right.
value is there.
Yes,
And the
yes.
ability to help people is there. So you
Yeah.
started posting and then people just reached out? Is that how it
Yep.
started?
Yeah, we
Love it.
started, people that we knew, people in our neighborhood, people in our church, people in our local clubs, uh, people in civil service, because I have kind of a reputation in the Washington, D.C. metro area IT circles. And I just started saying, hey, we're doing this. If you know anybody or you're interested, a lot of people were considering career changes.
Yeah.
And, I would walk through the airport. This occurred. I walked through the airport and talked to a TSA guy, and the next thing you know, he's sitting as a mentee in the program, paying attention to this as a possible career avenue for him.
Well, I straight up have mentees that are like I met them in a drive-through.
Right,
know?
right.
I think that's the key is like you tend to, at least for me, I tend to collect people. Like I'm
Hmm.
just like, hey, I could tell you of a pure heart. I can teach you technical, right?
Right.
Like if you've got the drive and the motivation, it's just you've got to not only have a pure heart, you also have to have mental fortitude like nobody's business. Because
Hmm.
this job market
Hmm.
will test you and it
Yeah.
will push you and it'll push your boundaries. And the competition's insane. What advice are you giving to a lot of these new kids who are trying to get into cyber or people who are trying to make the career pivot? Because I'm
Hmm.
very much like do anything else.
Right.
And unless you love this, go do something else because it's
Right.
not a place for if you don't have a passion for it, it's going to eat you up and spit you out.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Very true. I put a post out on LinkedIn a couple months ago. Don't know if you read it, but it said, "Your best day is when nothing happens."
Yeah, it is.
You know,
Totally is.
it's not like Hollywood. You
No.
know, I'm sorry, Matthew McConaughey is not going to run in and save things, you know. So um,
Exactly.
the goal I try and point out to people is number one, keep seeking, keep growing, keep learning. You and I both know that there is a continuous uphill learning curve in what we're
Yeah.
doing.
100%.
And you can't learn it all, but learn what works for you
Yep.
and do it every day. But in addition, do something of value today. You have information. You've got skills that help keep your mom out of hot water
Yep.
or, whatever. I pointed out to my team a long time ago, I said, you're going to become that annoying voice at parties and class reunions, walking around saying, hey, did you guys apply the latest patch? It's really important. I think you should. Here, give me your phone and I'll do it for you. You
I
know?
am I
So,
am so that guy during like when it's when people are posting back to school photos, I'm like, "Hey, don't do that. Like don't tell
right.
me what school your kid goes to, what grade they're in, where they're located in a picture in front of your house. Like please don't do that."
Yep.
But I agree. You become that advocate and you become that voice, but those are the people who make it.
Right.
The ones
Right.
who are shameless about their love of
Right.
technology, and are willing to be that voice just because it's the right thing to do.
Hmm.
Because it's not a field that you're going to want to go into if you're looking for the same thing every day. But there's also a large part of our field that is the same thing every day. So
Right.
it's very interesting. It's like you constantly have to learn, and at the same time, most of your job is going to be doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah. There is I'll just tell you, for me speaking personally, there's an
Mhm.
intrinsic value to what I do because at the end of the day, I can say, did I help defend? Did I help make this a better world?
Yeah,
It's a lot different than, did I work in a grocery store or was I an architect building buildings or, these sorts of things? No, did I make a difference today? Did I help keep someone from losing their life savings today?
yeah,
And you can do that in this career
yeah.
field
You
just by
can.
helping the people around you. I call it your spheres of influence, just helping them get smarter to
Yep.
learn a little bit about what you already know.
And you have no idea when that knowledge is going to take root
That's right.
and how it's going to be beneficial. And that's why when I started recording content and putting content out there when I got laid off, um, I realized how beneficial it was.
Hmm.
I had somebody message me last week and say, my son is now interested in cyber because, the fact that you share your neurodiversity and that you're not ashamed of it. It's not something that you see as a negative. He now has hope that that's someplace that he could go and that's a career
Right.
field that he could go into. And I was just like,
Yep.
that's what it's about. right? It's
Yeah,
about doing good. Like during this conversation, videos that you've posted, videos that I've posted are giving advice to people, right?
right.
And sharing that knowledge. I think that's one of the most important things as a new person. You don't have to be an expert to educate people.
That's right. Absolutely.
You just have to know enough. And as soon as you know enough, share it with somebody else because that
Hmm.
knowledge gives them power and
Yep.
it continues to grow your knowledge. And the reason I started mentoring is a little different than you. I agree with the giving back, but mine was just I needed to work on soft skills and I didn't have any. The best way to do that is by talking with people who wouldn't get mad at you when you were too direct or too blunt.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and by doing that, I started to learn to soften my approach. I learned what upset people, what didn't, and I did that over the last 10, 20 years where I've mentored and worked with different people, hundreds and hundreds of people. And like you said, each one of those people now goes off and helps somebody else. Like that to
Right.
me is what it's all about.
Right. We're
I've
like
never
the Pied
realized it.
Piper.
Yeah, I've never realized it like till right now how much being a pastor is very similar to kind of being really emphatic about cybersecurity or an evangelist for
Yep.
cybersecurity, right? There's very
Strange
little
but true.
differences there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you balance kind of the your work life, all of the mentee demands and things like that? Like, I think you and I come from the we work ourselves to death early in our career. Like,
Mm,
and then when we get into the normal, like a 40-hour day is not, I can't like that. I don't do that. Like, I couldn't work for only 40 hours, in a week. It would be weird for me because I'm so used to doing additional tasks. Are you very
right.
similar?
Yeah, also, I find a lot of value in early morning. I am an incredibly early riser, 3:30,
Yeah.
4 a.m., and
Nice.
that is the time where I think the clearest
Hmm.
and, where I can put together these plans. And in everything I do, I personally feel that I have great value as a systems thinker. In other words, I don't look at a server. I look at the entire infrastructure that needs servers to support the business that helps people to make money in the
Yeah.
it's not just the server.
No.
And so think in the biggest picture you can, and that's where you should be comfortable, and then bring it down local.
Yeah.
But
That 30,000 foot view, right?
yeah,
If you
yeah,
can master that, everything
yep.
else becomes relatively easy, even with problem solving, which is a
Hmm.
fundamental skill that I've talked about a lot on this podcast that younger generations are missing, just that basic troubleshooting,
Right.
because they can just Google any
Yeah.
problem they have.
Yep.
They don't have to get smart. They don't have to know how to solve problems. They just can ask an AI, and the AI will give you a pretty darn good use case. But
Yep.
learning to break stuff and playing with stuff, I think, is key. I talked to someone recently, and I could tell they were really talented and really good. But the reality is, they didn't have that passion or drive for technology. Like, they're not playing with a home lab, they're not doing those things, and that's okay.
Hmm.
You don't, but this may not be the best field for you because if you're not tinkering and playing and kind of always learning, it's going to
Hmm.
be hard and you're always going to be kind of up against the eight ball for the people who are and putting
Right.
in that time.
Yeah. I have an approach in cybersecurity sensei mentorship that I think is kind of unique. I'm trying to teach them to think like their CISO. In
Yeah.
other words, when you're asked that interview question that we all get asked, what keeps you up at night? Um, I ask them to think what keeps him up at night or
Yeah.
her, and try and it's if somebody asks you what keeps you up at night, oh, I'm wondering if I'm going to, get this job. There's much more than that. This
Yeah.
guy across the seat from you is trying to figure out, are you going to be a good fit? Are you going to be toxic to my team? Um, are you, regardless of your skills, are you going to cause everybody else to want to leave?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with your skill set. It has to do with you as a person.
Those
So,
soft skills, man, those soft skills
yeah,
are critical in this
yes.
job market specifically because like you said, one bad person can demolish a team.
Absolutely.
I've seen it happen, and I've watched it happen. And I've been personally demoralized by a new team member coming
Sure.
in that was
Sure.
toxic, right? So
How is it that this jerk gets promoted and I'm
oh
working
my
real
God.
hard and yep,
Yes.
yep.
It makes it super hard to understand. I Theodore Roosevelt has a fantastic quote, which I live by, which is comparison is the theft of accomplishment. And
Hmm.
I really feel like I spent a lot of my life defining my success by other people's
Mm.
and looking at their success without really understanding what success was to me.
Right, right,
Right. I feel like that's something that's I try to teach with a lot of my mentees is like, what does your success look like? Is
right.
it you have a
Hmm.
job in cyber? Is it you're working from home? What's success look like? Because once you know that criteria, well, why do you keep chasing more and more and more? It's like we've been programmed
Yeah.
um, to constantly need and constantly want more than we have instead of being thankful for the little things,
Hmm.
right? Parallels to your pastor life again, right?
Yep.
It's being thankful for the little things in life and not overstressing all the other stuff.
Right.
For you have faith, and it's all about putting your hands in the Lord. For me, I'm an atheist. It's all about putting hands in science, like understanding that everything has a reason, um, and really understanding that stuff. But in technology, I think so many people get focused on things for the wrong reasons and get obsessed for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
Did you yourself deal with burnout in your career, or have you pushed yourself to that point where you're like, "Ooh, I might have, I probably need to take a break."
No, I would say I've been incredibly fortunate.
Hmm.
Um, I was, for example, back in the 1990s, I was told to go clean up this facility. I was an IT guy, and I was told, go clean up this facility because somebody's coming to examine it to inspect it. And so I went and, straightened up and dusted and vacuumed and fixed the windows and set up computers to look like they worked. They didn't, but, made it look like an office and then stood there literally at parade rest inside the door when this retired four-star general came in, went all around, looked at it, everything, said, yep, we'll take it. And we'll take him too. And that got me my job on the President's Commission for Critical Infrastructure Protection. So I have
How
just been
wild.
fortunate. I've been standing in the right doorways when the right people have walked past.
Yeah.
And you never know when somebody's going to examine you and review you and make that decision.
Yep.
And I was prepared for whatever occurred. And that launched me on a 2 year,
Ah,
I mean,
see.
stellar career. You just got
And
to be
you,
ready for it.
yeah. Well, you said the exact thing. I don't believe in luck. Luck is
Hmm.
not a thing. It is when opportunity and preparedness meet,
Yep.
that is when things happen. So if
Yep.
you're always ready and you're engaged and you're excited and you're really willing to jump in feet first,
Hmm.
that's where opportunity happens.
Hmm.
It's really, that's all it is. I've
And it
seen
also,
so many miss out on that.
yeah, that also keeps you away from that burnout, honestly, because
Yeah.
burnout is fueled by expectations. And if you don't have expectations, if you are as excellent as you can be today in the moment, what you're doing right now,
Yep.
then burnout is not even in my vocabulary.
Oh man, I wish I would have learned that when I was younger.
Mm,
I worked incident response and I took on multiple responsibilities and more stretch assignments because I had such bad imposter syndrome. I didn't feel like I belonged and I
mhm,
just wanted to prove to everyone I did, right? I have a high school education. I was homeless when I was younger. Like I moved out when I was 18. And I just constantly struggled with everything. So when I got into technology finally, I hit it so hard that I just took on too much and I didn't know
mm,
how to say no. But I
right.
kind of love your your idea of like, hey, just keep at it, keep your foot
Hmm.
on the gas and wait.
Be good today.
Yeah,
Be good today.
it'll happen. And like don't focus so much on setting an expectation for yourself as opposed to just focus on the day. I
Mhm.
look at myself in three U's, right? The past you, the present you, and the future you. It's a Jamaican philosophy. And your job is to just make sure that you do the best you can today to set future self up for success, right? And
Yep.
then
Yep.
to learn from past self mistakes and what you've
Hmm.
learned. So,
I,
what advice do you give to this new generation of cyber practitioners?
mhm.
What's kind of that secret sauce, so to speak, that you tell them, like, hey, here's how you can land your first gig? What does that look like for you?
I would say that, first of all, you know more than you think you do. You're
Yeah.
comparing yourself against job vacancy announcements, and guess what? You're never going to match one of them
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
And by the way, as a hiring manager for many years, if I found somebody that matched it exactly, I'd say they're going to
Instant
get bored.
suspicious. Yeah, bored.
They're
They're
going
going
to
to be
leave
bored
after
and they're going to
6
leave.
months. So I'm not going to
Totally.
hire them. You know,
100%.
I want
Th-
somebody who can expand into that career
Yep.
field. So, as we're doing it, you've got to be eager, you've got to be hungry, but you've also got to be confident in your ability so that when you go into your interview, you sell yourself.
Yeah.
That's the time where you can say, I am my own biggest fan. And you
Yep.
don't do it because you're big-headed. You do it
Yeah.
because you're enthusiastic
Yep.
about benefiting these people on the other side of the table.
That's some fantastic advice, right? It's all about how am hiring me is going to help you in this way, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I always look at people when I hire them, and I'm a hiring manager currently. I specifically look for where are they going to be in 5 years and how can I help them get there,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like, will I have opportunities to grow them? Will I have the ability to grow them within my team and then grow them, And if that means also growing them to take on bigger responsibilities or a different job or at a different company, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Because my job as a leader is to be there and to be a service to you, to
The
try to make
people.
you as successful as possible, right?
Yep.
And I feel like servant leadership is such a rarity in the field of technology. It's really kind of hard to get into, and it's hard to find leaders that exemplify that service leadership. It sounds like you've been very lucky and blessed and opportunity, whatever, to get in front of people at the right time who are just like, that's the right fit.
Hmm.
When
Hmm.
you're looking back at your career, we've got maybe a few more minutes left here. What's the
Okay.
biggest like thing that you remember that like somebody gave you advice wise that you kind of took to heart that you still think about to this day?
To this day, I remember being in a meeting. We were in a stand-up meeting inside the Network Operations Center over at the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command. And the net ops chief was standing there next to this big rack full of um, connectors for
Yeah.
network connectors. And we were talking away, and this guy turns and he looks and he grabs one hand and he snakes all the way around to the other end. He disconnects it, reroutes it, and puts it back in. I'm like, but we're live. That could have been somebody's desktop. And he said, it doesn't matter. I made it better. He said, I will never enter a room and not leave it better than I found it.
Ooh, that's a good one. I love that. Always make the room better than where you left it. That's
Yep.
fantastic. That I absolutely love that. Man, Scotty, it has been a pleasure. I didn't really know what to expect. I never do. I don't ever have pre-meetings. I just kind of our first conversation is live and with other people listening, which I find just kind of the most unique, more honest approach to podcasting than this whole
Yeah.
scripted bit. Thank you so much for coming, man. Pitch your stuff, your Cyber Sensei stuff. How can people find out about it? How can they get to it?
Sure. Thank you. We're on Facebook as Cybersecurity Sensei. You got to search for us. It is a closed group. You've got to apply. But I'm also on LinkedIn. I was an early adopter, so my ID is Scotty Ward, SCOTTYWARD. and I'll be happy to help get anybody connected. We've got an incident response team. We've got the mentorship program. We've got a
Love it.
speakers bureau, and we also have a tech publishing team where we publish articles without copyright for anyone to use for cyber safety.
Love
So
it. Absolutely love it. Check out his stuff. I'll also tag him when this post goes live sometime in December. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time.
my pleasure, Robert.